Donald Trump is doing some truly horrifying shit to immigrants right now. And if we want to have any chance of stopping it, we have got to figure out how to connect with more reasonable moderates and conservatives and get them to stand shoulder to shoulder with us on fighting this. But doing that, especially when we're up against an administration that is blatantly and repeatedly lying about the innocent people that they are deporting to an El Salvadorian concentration camp disguised as a prison, is really, really hard. And it can feel really hopeless at times. So I've put together some sample arguments that you can use when talking to conservatives in your life about the importance of immigrants to our nation and the urgency of standing with them. These arguments are designed to appeal to a conservative morality system, which, as I outlined in an earlier video, rely most heavily on the foundational values of loyalty, authority, sanctity, and liberty, according to Jonathan Haidt's moral foundation theory. If you'd like to see these arguments in written form, go click on my bio to find your path there. My hope is that you can use and remix these arguments however most useful, and that together we can recruit more folks to the fight to protect immigrants and our nation's soul. So I'm going to demonstrate a general narrative first, and then I'm going to do audience-specific narratives for 3 different conservative audiences: veterans and military folks, small-town rural folks, and evangelical Christians. So first up is the general narrative. For hundreds of years, immigrants have come to this country not to tear it down, but to build it up. Our immigrant neighbors raise families, start businesses, serve in our military, and fill the pews in our churches. They are living proof that the American dream is still alive, not because it is easy, but because it is worth striving for. Their grit and commitment reflects the loyalty and work ethic that we hold dear as Americans. Immigrants strengthen our communities. They take care of our elders, harvest our crops, drive our trucks, and fill essential jobs that keep this country running, often without any recognition in return. That's not weakness. That's sacrifice, and it deserves respect. When someone commits their life to serving their family, their community, and this country, they are honoring the very values that define this country: faith, family, and personal responsibility. Welcoming immigrants who share our respect for faith, family, and hard work is part of what has always made America strong. From the Irish and Italian immigrants of the past to today's newcomers, our tradition as a nation is built on people who choose America and then give everything to make it better. That's not a threat to our culture. It is our culture. Turning our backs on those who help build this country, often while asking for little in return, isn't strength. True strength is knowing that when we stand by those who stand by us, we all thrive. All right, now this is the military and veteran specific narrative. For this, I'm going to speak as if I am a veteran. I'm not, just to be clear, but this is for the example. As veterans, we know that true strength comes from unity, from people showing up, doing the job, and putting the team first. Immigrants do that every single day in our country. They serve alongside us in the military, they care for our families, and they keep the engines of this country running, often with little recognition. They believe in the same ideals that we fought for: freedom, duty, and family. Many immigrants are willing to risk everything just for the chance to contribute, not for handouts, but for the opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with their neighbors and serve something greater than themselves. That kind of commitment deserves our loyalty. It's not weakness to protect those who make our country stronger. It's what we swore to do. Okay, now next up is the narrative for small town and rural folks. In small towns across America, we still believe in showing up for our neighbors and putting in a hard day's work. And immigrants are doing just that. They're working the farms, they're building the homes, they're stocking the shelves, and they're caring for our elders. They're not asking for special treatment, they're just doing their part. They're raising families, joining churches, starting businesses, and they share our values: faith, family, and tradition. They're not outsiders trying to change our way of life. They're people who believe in it enough to want to be part of it. When we look after those who show up for our communities, we make our towns stronger, and we keep our way of life alive. And then finally, here is the narrative specifically for evangelical folks, although it could be adapted to be for faith-based communities as a whole. Scripture instructs us to welcome the stranger, to care for the sojourner, and to remember that each person is made in the image of God. Immigrants are not a threat to our faith. They are living examples of faith in action. Many come here guided by their belief in God, in family, and in the promise of a better future. They honor the sanctity of family, they live by moral conviction, and they work tirelessly to contribute to the communities that welcome them. When we turn our backs on them, we risk turning our backs on the very people that Christ commanded us to love. Protecting those who strengthen our churches, our schools, and our neighborhoods isn't a political act. It's a spiritual responsibility. All right, so there you have it. Once again, if you would like to see these narratives along with some bulleted talking points in written form, if you go over to my bio, follow that path, it'll take you, sorry, trying to avoid getting shut down by the algorithm. It'll take you straight to a page of mine where I have all of this in written form. I would love for you guys to remix these, however is useful for you to reach conservatives in your life on this issue, because it is so, so urgent and so important. I also want to note that I intentionally did not name a villain in these narratives because I know how many conservatives absolutely shut down the instant that they catch even the hint of being critical of Trump. But I would encourage you, if there are opportunities where you think someone will not shut down, I would definitely always encourage people to name the villain directly whenever they think that it won't completely shut down the conversation. And again, these are all narratives that are designed specifically to appeal to a conservative morality system. None of those narratives were meant to be how I would speak about some of these topics in my everyday life. For example, that is very much not how I would speak about the founding of our country, because there were a lot of people that came here that did not get to choose America because they were literally forced to come here. And obviously our country only exists now because of their work. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there so that you didn't think that I am ignorant of the realities of American history. So let me know what you guys think and what topic would be most useful for me to work through next. Thanks, y'all. See you in the next video. Bye.